everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Casca and I like to make things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but it's okay because it's all a learning experience. In today's video, I'll be making some 1890s combinations. Now, you may have noticed over the last month or so that quite a few of the CosTube channels have been making historically accurate Disney costumes. I loved this idea and felt so inspired by it that I wanted to have a go myself. There was one big problem though. I've never been a huge Disney princess kind of person. The only Disney films I really watched when I was a kid were things like The Lion King. But I still really wanted to have a go. And then I remembered Disney owned the rights to the Alien franchise. So technically, I could do an alien-inspired costume and it would still fit the Disney theme. So with that in mind, I'm going to be making an 1890s Giger's alien-inspired walking suit. I haven't really done any historical costuming before. I've made loads of corsets and some cosplay type things when I was clubbing, but I've never done anything like this before. So I'm going to have to start with the foundations. So in today's video, I will be making the combinations and then I will be making a petticoat. Like I say, I've already got a corset, bum pad, shirtwaist, and then the actual suit. I do have the book Authentic Victorian Fashion Patterns, so that's going to come in really handy for pattern making. It does have some split drawers in there which I'll be able to use as a kind of base for the combinations. So time to get cracking. I started off by making a full-size pattern from the split drawers pattern in Authentic Victorian Fashion Patterns. I then made a mock-up using an old bedsheet. The legs were stitched together and then I did 2 rows of gathering stitches along the top of each leg. These were then gathered up and attached to the waistband. Okay, so they're actually not looking too bad. When I looked at the pattern and it was like that wide, I was thinking this can't possibly work, like it must be too big. But once you've gathered everything down into the waistband, it's not too bad. I'll show you. See? Obviously, they need to be, like, you have the pin tucks put in and the ruffles around the bottom. But yeah, they're not too shabby. I have put some pins in the front and the back so that I can actually show you them because they were looking a little bit not safe for work. But I'm thinking to fix that problem for the proper ones, I'll probably put a placket in at the front and the back and do a bit more of an overlap at the back so they're not like gaping. I think I've kind of learnt enough now about what I need to do to make these combinations actually work. So the plan's going to be to extend the pattern for the drawers up by about 3 inches to make up for the waistband not being there because it's just really thick and it's not really going to work. I want all those gathers because I think they really work. I also want to do gathers on the bodice part of the combinations. So that's all going to be gathered and then brought in at the waist, and I'll probably do some lace to cover those seams. For the straps and around the front, that's going to be lace. I have got some insertion lace and some kind of trimming lace, so I'll have a little play around with doing some draping and see what works best. So I will get back to you when I'm cutting out the new pattern. I extended my pattern by cutting through the top portion and then adding a strip the width of the waistband. I then added some guidelines for the pin tucks, stitched them in place and then ironed them. Next I made my ruffles for the bottom of the legs. I stitched some lace to the bottom of a strip 1.5 times the width of the bottom of the leg. This was then gathered and attached to the bottom of the leg. I then seam ripped one of them because I put it on the wrong way round. Each leg was then stitched together. For the bodice section, I draped fabric on my dress form until I was happy with the shape. I left it a bit longer on the bottom so I could get more body around the waist. After evaluating the amount of lace I had, I realised I didn't have enough. To stretch my supply a bit further, I had to piece some old bits of lace together. I then loosely attached the lace around the top of the bodice section. To add a bit more shape, I added ribbon to the inside of the waistline and the bottom of the legs so I could make them tighter. I then added some buttons and hand-stitched buttonholes. Finally, I added some ribbon to the neckline and shoulder straps. So here they are. I don't think they turned out too bad. I did end up having to do a lot of piecing. I perhaps underestimated quite a lot how much lace I would need. As you can see, there's a lot going on with the sleeves that don't really fit very well. They keep falling down, so I might have to make an adjustment to that. I think because I've got really small shoulders, so I think what I'm going to have to do is redo these straps, get some more lace and have them go a bit further back towards the back to help them stay upright a bit more. Other things, when I first saw that pattern for the split drawers, I was like, there's no way, like this is massive. But it gathered right the way down, like it worked. I did not expect that. I totally thought that I had made a mistake in my calculations, but no. They're so comfy, these, apart from like the little mistakes with the straps that I'm going to be fiddling with through this entire thing now. Apart from that, they're really, really comfy. I'm really pleased with how the bottoms look. I'm glad I made that decision to put in the little ribbon to gather it up and pull them in a little bit tighter because they were looking a little bit too wide, I think. Also the tie around the waist to keep it at waist level, because before I put that in it was like sagging down quite a lot the back. It wasn't giving that kind of poofed up around the waist effect that I was looking for. So I'm glad I made that decision. I'm not 100% sold on this grey ribbon. I'm not 100% sold on this grey ribbon. It's a little bit plasticky. I got it from the Range because that was the only place nearby that sold ribbon. Might have to go on a big ribbon and lace hunt. This is the lace that I got for the insertion, and it's so scratchy and really stiff. I mean, it might work for when I do the petticoat, but for this that was going to be right up against my skin, I just couldn't do it. I'm not sure if it's because it's made out of plastic or if it's had some sort of chemical treatment done to it to make it this stiff. If anybody knows anything about making really cheap lace, like actually usable and like soft, then do let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Like I got so much of it as well and it's looking like I'm not going to be able to use it. So I ended up having to kind of make do with what I had, which wasn't enough. This lace, as you can see, I'd also used on this corset as well. This is just some leftover stuff that I had, and I like it. I do really like it, but I don't think it quite goes. So these have just been tacked on, so I'll be able to just rip them out and replace it with something later on. If I can get some more of the lace that I used around the bottom of the legs, then that would be good. I'm really pleased with my little buttons as well. I know you can't see them because I'm wearing a corset. But I'm really pleased with my buttons. This is the first time I'd done buttonholes using an actual buttonhole stitch, because from watching millions of YouTube videos I learnt what that is properly. It turned out in my sandworm video that was a blanket stitch that I used, not a buttonhole stitch, so I now know what that is. So yeah, they look so cute and the buttons are really cute. I think next time, yeah, I think I am going to have a go at making another one. Not for this costume, because this will do for this, but at some point down the road I'll have a go at making another one. And I think I'll probably use like a bodice pattern or something to do the top part rather than just kind of winging it like I did. I think that's going to look a lot neater, because the other thing with this as well is the arms are a little bit too high here as well. So basically bottom half 100% success, really happy with it. Top half, nah. But it's functional, it will do for now. It will do for this outfit that I'm going to do. I'm really glad that I made the decision to change the fabric, because this fabric I used for the mock-up, it's just a bed sheet. You can get them from Tesco for like £4, £5. And it works out, for the amount of fabric you get, it works out a lot cheaper than buying fabric. And the cotton that I got, I feel like it was a bit too thick. It wasn't like kind of as flowy and kind of dainty and underwear like as this fabric is. The only downside to this fabric is it frays like anyone's business, and it had some creases in it that just would not shift because they'd been in there from the point of manufacturing, from them being packaged. But with a few washes and stuff, they'll come out. That'll be fine. So pin tucks, I have never done pin tucks before, and I did make a mistake with the measurements because I didn't actually measure anything properly other than to get them in a straight line. So it turned out that I'd put them too close together, so I've got one fat one and two thin ones. But again, for never doing these before, I'm pretty pleased with them, and it now means that I know what I'm doing for when I do pin tucks on my petticoat. Yeah, so overall, I'm really pleased with this. A lot of lessons have been learnt. It's not perfect, but nothing I ever make is perfect. It's underwear. Nobody's ever going to see it, apart from the fact that I've put it out there on a YouTube video and you guys have seen it. But in the real world, nobody's going to know. So it functions, it's going to do its purpose for this 1890s make. And I'm really looking forward to getting onto the next video doing my petticoat now. With that in mind, if you've liked this video and fancy giving it a like, it would be very much appreciated. I'm also always open to your constructive criticisms and comments. Anything you think I could do better, anything that you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more videos of me trying to make things and continuing this series, then please do subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks for watching, bye!